Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are diving into one of the most important and the crucial aspects of Kotlin, that is object-oriented programming. So what is object-oriented programming? So a kind of programming which revolves around classes and objects. Today we will mainly discuss classes, objects, class functions, constructors. Okay. So what are classes? So classes are basically the blueprints, from which you can, you can generalize something. Suppose you have a car, right? But that car can be Hyundai, that car can be Tata, that car can be Maruti. These cars have basics, they have some basic common features, like it has four wheels, it has a steering, it has a clutch, it has a gearbox, all have similar functionality. So the blueprint is basically the car. So the design of the car is almost similar, okay, but the brandings or the brands are different, right? That is the case. Like classes are the blueprints and objects are the instance of the classes. That means this can have different attributes but based on the similar things. Okay. Now I will show you how we can do that. Okay. Let's define a class. Let's define a class called car. So this is, suppose this is a basic class that we have defined, and we take what a car has is, suppose it has a name which can differentiate. Okay, let's define that in string. Okay, and we initialize that with empty empty string. Okay, so whenever you are declaring any attribute inside the of the class, you need to initialize it. Okay, it's not like in Java, like we can just directly declare it and it can be initialized through constructors. Now in Kotlin, whenever you declare something, you need to initialize it, else it will throw an initialization check. Okay, suppose we can have something called price as well. Okay, price can be, suppose we are taking int. Okay, and we are initializing it with 0. Okay, so this, I have defined that as a car. Now, this is a blueprint, right? So every car will have a name, every car will have a price. So this is called class. This is the blueprint from which we are creating objects. Okay, so what kind of objects we can create? Suppose we can create Hyundai, that is car. Okay, you're creating a car. Okay, let's create another car, that is Tata. Okay, so if you see that we have created these two. Now if we want to print this, what will you print? Let's print Hyundai dot name. It is accessible, right? So we have declared this attribute so that you can access these attributes, right? The price, you can access the Tata dot name and Tata dot price. Now see, whenever you run this program, you won't be able to get anything because it is by default initialized as empty string and it has been initialized with 0. So if you want to change it in the object level rather than in class level, because in class level, whatever you defined here, it will always be 0 and empty string because it is defined in the class level. If you want to change that in object level, what you need to do is you need to go for a you need to go for an constructor. Okay, so whenever we do that, let's do this. Whenever we are going for this class, let's declare it here, var name. Okay, and let's take var price int. and we remove this from here. So now you have a class which have a constructor which is having these two. Okay. And now whenever you do that, see now you're getting exception. No value passed for the parameters because it is expecting the values of name and price. So whenever it is suppose Hyundai, we are giving Hyundai. Okay. And the price suppose we are giving 1,20,000. For Tata, suppose the price we are giving 1,40,000. Okay. Now what we have done is we have changed the value in the object level. So the class is a different kind of it's a top level. After that, this comes as the object level. So if you run it now, you will be able to see that, see, Hyundai has been, so the Hyundai has been initialized with Hyundai name and the price. The Tata has been initialized with Tata and its price. That's why you are able to see that. Now the classes and the objects are clear and the constructor is clear. So what is constructor? What constructor is basically by which you can initialize the values of an object. So see, whenever you are calling this, you are calling this one. So it is expecting these two arguments to be there so that you are able to initialize this with Tata and this price. Okay. So these two, so that is how the constructor works, a special kind of function which initializes the object. Okay. So constructor is done. Suppose, and now we will be going into class functions. So what are class functions? Class functions are nothing but if you if you declare something, if you declare a function inside a class, in those cases we call it as class function. Suppose we write it here inside, so we have this class, right? Suppose we write it a function, we write, okay, let's provide a formatted data. Okay. So in formatted data, what will we print? We will print a formatted string like the car info is. Now in the car info, what we will print? We will print name. Now let's do interpolation here. Okay, name, and we will print price. Okay, now we close it. Now you see, you don't need to print all those because in the class we have defined that there is a class functions which can be described, which can describe all your attribute values. In those cases, what I will do is Hyundai dot formatted data I'll print, and data dot formatted data I'll print. In those cases, what will happen? It will print the kind of format that we have given. That is, the car info for Hyundai is this, for car info for Tata is this. Okay, so these are class functions. So class functions, if you define that in the class level, it would, the objects will be able to share the common functionality between every every object. So you don't need to specifically write that in a different kind of object. So you can have that in the class level itself. So as you can see, we have discussed most of the basic concepts of object-oriented programming, like classes, objects, class functions, and constructors. I think you have a good idea now how to write classes, what are objects, how to write class functions, and why we write class functions, and what is constructors. Okay, so these are the basic concepts. In the later video, I will discuss the fundamental concepts of object-oriented programming like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulations, and we will try to create an app in the later videos as well, so that you can have a working knowledge that how can we develop the web application using Kotlin. Okay, so if you have learned something from this video, do like, share, and subscribe subscribe, and uh, for more content, just follow this YouTube channel. If you like, Just and if you have any doubts, you do comment here in this comment section. I will personally reply each and every one of you if you have any doubt. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Happy coding.